All right, it is list time. It's holiday season. That means it's list time. We're gonna do this list one take style. Now, you guys know I like pumping out long videos. I like going in depth, being thorough, testing all these shoes. I have done that throughout the year. So now I just get to tell you which shoes are best. And gosh dang, I can barely hold this shoe in my hand. It is so wide. So we're gonna start off this list today with the best daily trainers of the year. What is a daily trainer? Anytime I do a video on a daily trainer, I have to explain what it is because it's one of those terms of art where if you're in the community, you might know. Also, it's one of those terms where different people have different definitions, but we all use it. To me, a daily trainer is a shoe that you can run in every day and that can handle any run on a training program. So whether that's a long run, a short recovery run, a workout with some 5K race pace, or walking around town, that is a daily trainer to me. And the way that I have landed on evaluating whether a shoe is a daily trainer or not is, would this be a shoe I could take on a week-long, 10-day trip, let's call it a week-long vacation, and be happy with having that as my one shoe? It's the one shoe vacation test. And the shoe that I've been testing recently, this did not make the list, by the way, but I just have it out here. The Gel Nimbus 27. This does not pass the vacation test. It's too soft, it's too much stack. I would not want to do a lot of treadmill running with this. I would not want to do any sort of workouts with this. So that falls into the recovery category or the max cushion comfort category, not a daily trainer. Similarly, a great shoe here, one of my favorite shoes of the year. This is honorable mention on the list. This is not making the list because of the vacation test. This would not be my choice for a one shoe to do it all on vacation. It is fairly versatile, but I wouldn't want this as my one shoe. So MagMax is falling outside. I did want to still bring it as an honorable mention though, and that's where we can start the list today. Puma MagMax, one of the best shoes of the year, one of my favorite shoes of the year, but not what I would consider a daily trainer because it has a lot of stack, a lot of cushion, and for me was best for those relaxed miles. Now it is a very bouncy shoe. It's FedEx. FedEx still doing numbers. Very bouncy shoe, great grip with the Puma grip, great stable base. For my preference though, I prefer a slightly more streamlined feel for my everyday miles. I love max stack, I love super max stack. It's just not what I want to be running in every day, all the time for all of my runs, but this is an awesome shoe. So let's get into the core list here. I'm not gonna rank them. These five are the best on the market. I'm just gonna go from most affordable to most expensive. So first up here, one of the shoes that I really enjoyed this year, Adidas Adizero SL2. We took this on the revenge tour this summer. I put a ton of miles in it. I did short runs, I did long runs, I did fast runs, I did slow runs. This crushes it when it comes to that one shoe vacation test because it has a lot of capability. Now, the stability isn't the best if you compare it to the MagMax versus the SL2 here. Just take a look at this. Look how wide the base is on the MagMax, but the SL2 is going to be a lot lighter and it has the race foam in here. So in terms of what you should think about if you're buying a new daily trainer, there's lots of different types on the market. There's ones that lean faster, ones that lean more comfort oriented. For some people, maybe the Gel Nimbus could be a daily trainer if you're not doing a lot of speed runs and you prefer a more max stack shoe. But for me personally, I like versatility in my everyday shoe, and that's why the SL2 is great. Also, for the price, $130, you're not going to get more value for the dollar than what you get in here. A shoe that I am really excited to continue testing, and maybe it will make my list for next year, is the Mizuno Neo Zen. I've only done one run in it so far, and that is in contention for me to be one of the best daily trainers. And the other thing with this list is I'm only including shoes that are released on the market. So for example, Bondi 9, I've been loving that shoe. I'm not including that yet because it's releasing officially January 15th. And similar with the Neo Zen, I just haven't tested it enough. But Neo Zen reminded me a lot of this with the tall stack and the bouncy foam. That one is taller. This doesn't have the tallest stack, and that's the other nice thing. Ooh, it's cold out here. I have heard that some people mention that this is bricking up in the cold, which is not great. I tested this mostly throughout the summer, so that is something to consider. Maybe it's not going to be the best for the freezing months, but when I tested it spring, fall, or summer and fall, it was great. It does have more flexibility and more ground feel than a lot of the Max Stack shoes out there. Really awesome shoe. Adizero SL2, $130. By the way, race foam inside. That's the special sauce of this one. All right, next up at $140, another favorite from earlier in this year, the New Balance 860 V14. And as I was putting together this list and pulling shoes off the shelf and evaluating which ones am I going to put in, which ones am I not going to put in, I kept coming back to that vacation week test, and I kept coming back to seriously putting myself in the mind frame. Okay, I'm going on a trip next week. Do I want the MagMax or do I want the 860? And it's a hard decision for me to think about. I'm going to leave the MagMax at home because it's such a fun shoe. But I don't always want that much foam and fun and craziness. And I know I'm the Don of the Max Cushion gang and we joke about stack this, stack that. But these types of shoes, New Balance 860 V14, $140, more of a standard shoe, have now gotten a lot of the benefits of the Super Max Stack shoes, but in slightly more streamlined packages or significantly more streamlined packages that are great for any type of run. And there's a lot of value at this $140 price point right now. So this is actually a stability shoe, which is the crazy thing about this shoe, and it's one of my favorite daily trainers of the year. It's a stability shoe, but it's not super aggressive in terms of the support in the back, and it doesn't feel like it's adding too much control or locking my foot down too hard. So you have a top layer of softer foam, a bottom layer of firm foam, and then you get a plastic plate. They call it the stability plane, this red piece, but it's actually a plastic plate. So dual foam construction, dual foam does not miss. It is really hard to make a bad dual foam shoe because most of the time when brands are putting two foams in a shoe, they're really considering the construction. So it's not that just adding a second foam makes it so much better, but a dual foam shoe means they've thought about how these materials work together and they've tested it thoroughly. And the benefits of dual foam is that you can dial up certain qualities in one area of the shoe, for example, stability in the back, and then in another area of the shoe, dial up a different quality, squish, comfort, balance, fun in the front. So this is a stable shoe that adds just enough support while still being fun. It has one of the best rockers on the market, and it has the best rocker in New Balance's entire lineup. If you look at how this curves in the front and the back, it's great for heel striking. It's great for forefoot striking. I took this on a 21-mile long run out in the Poconos with my sister on a gravel road. It was great for that. I threw some marathon pace reps in there. I think at the time my marathon pace was around 6:15 or 6:20. I think I picked it up down to 6 flat at the end, and it did great. So it's one of those do-it-all workhorse style shoes that still has some fun. And fresh foam from New Balance, one of those compounds that's different across every shoe. So 1080 has a different fresh foam than the 860, which is a different fresh foam than the 880. He's backing up my neighbor's driveway. But the fresh foam in here is my favorite. The top layer of fresh foam in this is elite. And man, I like this better than the 1080. I really do. It's hard for me to say, and 1080 was one of my favorite. If I made a 10 best list of daily trainers, 1080 would have been on it, but this is the one out of the 1080 versus the 860 that does it for me. Again, that one shoe to do it all test. The 1080 falls in the Nimbus and the MagMax camp, where we're more of the Nimbus than MagMax, where it's a touch too soft to be that one do-it-all shoe for me. It's a great shoe, but it doesn't pass that vacation week test. It doesn't have all the versatility of this 860 here. This can do whatever you want it to, and it has one of the highest hit rates, if not the highest hit rate of the year. Nearly everyone I recommended this to, there was one person I recommended this to who said, oh man, it didn't work for me. Everyone else it worked for. And this is a guy who goes through a lot of shoes. A lot of shoes don't work for him, so this is another one that didn't work for him. But for most people, man, the 860 is a complete hit. I've recommended it to my sister-in-law, by the way. She got it, Amani, and she loves it. Auntie Amani loves it. So many people I've told, just get the 860, you're gonna love it. and they love it. It's the best beginner shoe out there, best daily trainer. I might have to put this #1 still. I really still think this is one of the best deals on the market, and especially as we turn over into the new year and they come out with the V15 of this and the prices on this start dropping. I haven't seen anything about a V15, but I'm sure it's coming because these brands refresh these shoes all the time. If you can get this on sale, great deal. So $860 V14, one of the best daily trainers of the year, landed on this list. I might have to still put this in the top slot. All right, next up here, at $140 again, hailing from Japan, the Asics Novablast 5. So this is a new shoe to come into the office here. Novablast 5. This has the streets on lock. A lot of people are loving this guy, and what is not to love? So new foam from Asics FF Blast Max. It's softer than the last version. It's bouncier, and it has all of the stack of a MagMax or a Nimbus, those shoes that I love, but that I don't want to run in every day, with more structure and speed capability. So it's comfort, support, and stability, all of that, plus bounce, fun, and speed when you want it. It's business in the back, party in the front. That's what you want in a daily trainer. You want the back to feel sturdy and solid, and you want the front to feel fast. That's the benefit of a dual foam a lot of the time, is they add that structure in the back and the pop in the front. This has it. It's also really light for the stack. It comes in around 270, 280 for my size, with having over 40 millimeters in the back. It looks great. There's a lot of cool colorways, and every colorway, by the way, that I've seen in person looks awesome. The stock photos of this, and people have posted this on the Subwell app, stock photos do not work for this shoe for some reason, but they look great in person. And all that, right? Looks, performance, etc. The price, $140 still for all this value. Now, the main downside of the shoe is the grip. I've said this before, but it's very rare that I will actually be slipping or sliding in a shoe, that I'll fall in the rain, but it's just more annoying. So if you're picking a daily trainer and you know it's gonna rain a lot, I would recommend getting something with good grip. And these two next shoes that I'm gonna pull both have better grip than this. That doesn't mean you need to completely eliminate it from contention, but if you plan to do a lot of speed work in a shoe, or you're running in an area with very slick roads, wet wooden bridges, stuff like that, then I wouldn't pick this. But other than that, it's bouncy, it's comfortable, it's supportive, it's fun. I did a 20-mile long run. I did some pace pickup. I did a 10-mile run at around a 6:30 pace with some 6 flat miles in there, and it was great. This is a true do-it-all shoe, a more modern take on the daily trainer than the 860 because of the foam compound that you have here, and it comes in 20 grams lighter than the 860 in my size. But man, these two are neck and neck for two of the top shoes this year, and this is a fresh release too, so it snuck in at the end to make this list. Awesome shoe, Asics Novablast 5. All right, last two here at $150. I think you guys are going to be surprised at these last two, actually, but at $150 from Omaha, Nebraska, Warren Buffett's very own Ghost Max 2. Now, Brooks has so many good shoes this year. It's Hoka, Asics, Brooks. Those are probably the 3 top brands this year. And then New Balance. I don't know. Maybe I should do a brand ranking. Regardless, in terms of training shoes, New Balance had so many hits. Hyperion 2. Probably the best lightweight, non-plated speed shoe. Hyperion Max 2. Awesome shoe. That was one of my favorite plated trainers until the Mach X2 came along. Of course, the Glycerin Max, one of the most comfortable shoes out there. And the Ghost Max 2, a quiet, reliable, sturdy workhorse that doesn't scream, that doesn't shout, that looks nice but not flashy and just gets the job done. Moderate drop here, so 5mm drop, decent stack of foam. It doesn't have as much foam as the Novablast 5, and it's actually 50 grams heavier, but it feels very sturdy and reliable, and it has that rugged workhorse character. Whereas the Novablast 5 is a more modern take on the category with the foam compound and the lightweight, also the looks of it, the aggressive lines. This feels like a more traditional shoe, but every time I lace this up, I just want to go out there and run. It's a no-nonsense shoe, and I love these types of shoes. Everyone should have one of them in their rotation. It's not going to blow you away, but it has just the right amount of bounce. I love the DNA Loft V3 in here, and the stability is solid too because of this wide base. If you compare it to MagMax, you can see it's narrower, but not by much. So awesome shoe here, DNA Loft V3, one of the top training foams of the year. It's a really solid foam. It's in the Adrenaline GTS. It's in the last version of the Glycerin. The new version of the Glycerin is getting the DNA tuned from the Glycerin Max. All around a solid shoe. This is the one I would pick if you're a bigger runner, you want something supportive, but still has some bounce to it. This does feel more sturdy than the 860. If you had to choose this or the 860, I would go 860 if you want speed, this if you want more comfort. All right, last pick here. I really think you guys are gonna be surprised at this one. Coming in at $160 from our friends out in Germany. Puma Deviate Nitro 3. Oh, that looks pretty good. Should I make that the thumbnail? You guys won't be surprised then about this if I make that the thumbnail. But yeah, this colorway is awesome. I love it. I think they call this the Sunset colorway. So this is actually a speed training shoe. It has a carbon fiber plate. It has two different types of foam. Again, dual foam doesn't miss. You have the firmer foam on the bottom, more of a race foam on the top. But I found every time I laced up the shoe, I wasn't encouraged to go fast. It's not a slow shoe, but this wasn't a shoe where, like in the Mach X2 or the Hyperion Max 2 or even the Magic Speed 4, where you want to lace it up and then go rip. Evo SL, that's a great example. That shoe came out recently from Adidas, and I said, man, this is a horrible daily trainer. And people are confused and think I'm ripping on that shoe or trying to be a contrarian. No, it's just not a daily trainer. It's not comfortable. The upper is minimal. The support isn't great. It encourages a faster stride with the rocker. The race foam bounces you along. It's a fun shoe, a really fun shoe to run fast in, but not a daily trainer. This is the opposite of the Evo SL. Higher drop, feels more relaxed, very sturdy construction in the back with this heel. And man, this foam is bricking up too. Gosh dang. I think some of these shoes, so it's about 25, 30 American right now, which is -1, -2 European. Some of these shoes are gonna brick up in the cold. Now, don't come to me for the super cold weather testing because this is just as cold as it gets. I ran in the Nimbus this morning. It did fine in the cold. I've run in most of these shoes in the cold and they've done fine. I have not run in this one in the cold. I have run in the MagMax and it did fine in the cold. So I don't know, maybe it's gonna brick up in the cold. This bottom foam definitely feels firm right now, but my fingers, I also can't really feel anything. This top foam feels pretty soft too. Let's see. I don't know, it should be okay. Regardless, if it's not -2 communist or 32 American, this will be a fun shoe. It's a fun daily trainer. Every time I put it on, I said, man, this is just a fun shoe to run in for slightly relaxed miles to everyday miles. It bounced me along. It wasn't too aggressive where it's putting me up on my toes, but it just made me want to run. And it has great grip, super reliable, can handle any type of run, and especially for me, where this comes into play. If I'm going on a trip for a week, I would 100% use this for all my runs, and I know that I'd be able to use it for speed workouts, even though it's not my favorite for speed workouts. So if you want a faster daily trainer, this falls into the SL2 category. Two similar types of shoes. Now the ride experiences are different. SL2 is softer. The Deviate Nitro 3 from Puma is firmer, and this is a shoe where I've had some people say it's firm. I did not find it firm at all. I found it right in that Goldilocks zone, and you'll find most of these shoes here. Ghost Max, 860, Novablast, Deviate Nitro 3, they fall into that Goldilocks zone. Not too soft, not too firm. SL2 is the only one out here that's soft. That's a soft shoe. That's what I I prefer. That's my preference for daily miles because I don't always want a soft experience, and most of the time I don't want a super firm experience. So this nails it. If you're looking for a daily that can do faster work, I would pick this. Now the question comes in, it has a plate. Is it bad to run in a shoe with a plate? I've said this before, but your body can't tell whether or not a shoe has a plate. What a plate does to a shoe is it provides stiffness and rigidity. So watch me try to flex this. It's not flexing much. Watch me try to flex this. It's not flexing much. So this is non-plated, this is plated. It's not any better to run in the MagMax every day just because it doesn't have a plate in it. That's what some people miss about the Superblast 2 sometimes. I've said this before, it's like sun chips. People think sun chips are healthier. You're still eating gosh dang chips. Just go get the kettle chips, they taste better. That's my whole philosophy here, and if you are going to get a non-flexible or a high stack shoe or a shoe that provides a lot of assistance in one area, that's fine. Use it as your daily for a few months and then move on to something else with a different shoe if you like having one shoe. Or have a rotation. Now you don't need 100 plus shoes like I have to have a rotation. You could have the Deviate Nitro 3. This is gonna have a 10 millimeter drop. And then you could have a more traditional non-plated shoe with more flexibility with a moderate drop. Maybe Rebel V4 or Hoka Skyflow. Those might not be the most flexible. Point being, you want different shoes with different capabilities, different drops, because they'll put different stresses on different parts of the body. That's the whole point of having a rotation, and it will round you out as a runner. So Puma Deviate Nitro 3, definitely a daily trainer. One of the top 5 daily trainers of the year. This thing is a sleeper. I don't know why it's such a sleeper. It also has a narrow fit, and I did a review of this. The Puma Deviate Nitro 3 is quietly great. And I said, I think it's underrated as well because it's Puma, and in the US, they're not widely available. For example, you walk into Dick's. I went into Dick's yesterday. Ghost Max 2, all over the place. They had 4 or 5 different variations of the Ghost Max 2. Same thing with the Novablast 5. That's now all over Dick's Sporting Goods. The Hokas will be there. New Balances won't, but they'll be in specialty retail. This is nowhere in the store. So they don't get the word out a lot about these Puma shoes. That's their fault. That's on Puma. That's their strategy. It's odd. Maybe they'll get more into specialty retail in 2025 and beyond, but that's their biggest area to improve for sure. But great shoe here. All right, that was the list for today. One take holiday break. That's all I have for you guys today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.